11:50. Holy cow! The witching hour has returned. How you guys doing? Are you having a good time? Yeah, we're finishing up the day here. Holy cow! What a kind of day is this? I really didn't even have that much software astrology today. I was going over my last podcast. And then out of the blue, here's this podcast coming at me and you. Holy cow! Does the father just give it like a 1-2 punch? Are you ready to put your thinking cap on again? This is Johnny Ice Pie, guys. I'm quite the guy. I'm going to get you high just by telling you why you should worship that Conjunct. Yeah, prey upon that Conjunct, just like the crocodile preys on all those Conjuncts happening out there. Okay, guys. So what am I talking about with this Conjunct thing? Okay. Well, to be quite honest with you, over the last day or so, since the 29th, we have really, as of the 29th, right at that midnight hour, give us the power, show us the shower, and this is how it's going to be for this hour, right? We're going to talk about the Conjunct. We're going to talk about the haven of Conjuncts that we're walking into, right? Because we're really going to notice that Conjunct. We're really going to realize the importance of that Conjunct and what that Conjunct's all about in each and every one of our lives, right? Because we all are dealing with the Conjunct in a different manner. And then there's the global Conjunct. And it's going to keep on happening, guys. This is it. The Father has given me this for you to share with everyone, all right? There's no money on the universe. You can't buy the universe. You can't buy the Conjunct land. The Conjunct land owns us. It's a true thing. I'm not kidding about it. Here we go. I could be honest. The donation tonight was a 7.7 crisp and dry cider. By Wolfsville, Nova Scotia. Analopolis. I think that's what it's called. I've never had this particular cider before, but it's 7.7 for sure. So I'm nice and relaxed, and this will hold me through. And we're going to talk about Conjunct land. Are you ready for it? Here we go. I hope Taylor Swift doesn't. It's all about being swift. I mean, I'm going to show you. I'm going to make you so swift tonight. You're going to feel out of sight when you know how to handle that Conjunct. Because we don't talk about it. It's not a popular term, but we have to make it a popular term because this is when things really get going, okay? So let me show you this one chart right here. I have right here. I was doing this chart, and then I realized I looked at it. I said, look at this. You got the node and Chiron sitting there in Aries. Look at this, 16 and 17 degrees. Look at, the importance of the node. And it's in this is for where I was. Like, this is for Banff, okay? But you'll have to mark this for your location, okay? That's the secret of it all. That way you get that house right. So, look at this. I want to show you this right now, okay? 16 and 17 degrees Aries, okay? What does that mean? What does that mean to you and me right now? This 16 and 17 degree mark of Aries. Well, the node's very important. And what sector of your life that node's touching upon right now is going to be at the degree mark. But the thing is that the moon crosses over the node, okay? I don't have that chart. Please excuse me, but you're smart, and you could draw that chart if you like. I'm going to show you everything else, that's right now and present, okay? Because we're in, what are we in? Let me like slip in here. We're in Conjunct Haven. We're in Conjunct Haven. We are going to be so clever with our prediction ability because we've been missing the mark, guys. It's the Conjuncts that we really have to watch right now in the next in the next few months here, you know, what do we have? We have February, March, and April, right? And we're going to be able to watch the moon pass by the node. The node's going to keep on moving, right? And the moon's going to cross by that node like it just did. I don't have the chart. I don't have the chart, but I'm pretty sure that you will believe me that I'm not lying to you, that the moon absolutely crossed over that node to get where it's at right now, where I have this chart right here set for 17 degrees, or I have this chart set for 7 degrees Libra. And what is the moon at 7 degrees Libra 10 minutes? What is that mark? That is the inconjunct to Jupiter and Taurus. Right? And I can show you the news, right? I mean, the news is right here. This is the 29th right here, right? Do you want to go to the 30th? Because look at the reason why I have the 29th set up here is because at 12 a.m. in London, we have the moon at 14 degrees Virgo, all right? That's where the moon is, okay? It's in that Virgo state right there at 29 degrees. So what is that moon about to do, right? What is that moon about to do? It's about to inconjunct that node, right? It's about because that moon is right here. The moon is on this side of these two in that inconjunct angle. What is that inconjunct angle? That inconjunct angle is all about the first to the sixth house. It's 6 houses. All right? We know that the importance of the 6th house is the stress of the 6th house. It's the stress of the inconjunction. There's that stress that will always occur before the accident that we talk about when the moon is what? In opposition, right? Moon's in opposition to the earth, and we're in that full moon cycle. So what are we going to be able to do, right? We know that Jupiter is going to catch up in Uranus, right? And we know that Uranus is only going to travel 2 degrees, right? I'm going to set this thing up right here, and I'm going to show you this right here for what I think it's important, right? We're just going to go minutes, okay? We'll go minutes, and we will go, that will hurt your eyes. You go like this, okay? Both of them are set nice, so they'll go fast. What are we going to do? What we're going to do right now? Because we're going back to January 29th, right? We reviews the trends right here. What was happening on this January 29th date? Okay? This is what we're going to do. What are we looking at? We're looking at the insurgency of Balakestan, and then we're looking at this headline right here. This is armed conflicts and attacks. Sounds like stress to me, right? Conflicts and attacks sounds like stress. Then we're going to look at the Russian invasion on Ukraine. We're going to then look at the Russian invasion on Ukraine. And we're going to look at the stress. There's a stress point there because Russia claims control of the village. However, Ukraine denies this claim, right? So we have to look at the situation here about this inconjunct period, because what's going to happen right here, I'm going to show you right now. Look, there is something happening. We're going to stop right here. There's things here all the way through, okay? But what we're looking at here is capital punishment in Iran. Iran-Israel proxy conflict. This is, 4 men are executed in Iran after being convicted of planning a bomb attack ordered by Israel's. You can look at this, right? This is this in conjunct thing. Because what is happening is that the moon is waxing in this in conjunct manner. Okay? That's what's happening here. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff here. I even looked over here in this little area. How's this look? You know, this is what we have here. We have, I mean, if we look at London just alone, but no matter where you are, you put the in conjunct to your town, right? And you can look at it. There is stuff, going down on these dates. So when we pull this over like this, I'm going to show you this right here, okay? We're going to get this thing going. We can start those races, okay? The midhaven is leaving 5 degrees Leo for the in conjunct, right? And here I am, 2 degrees, 34 minutes, Leo, right? So it's right there. I mean, look it up here, 26 degrees right there on the, isn't it funny? That 26 thing, look at this, 26, 26, 26, 26. The father is talking. Now look at this, guys. What am I showing you right now? I'm showing you the midhaven moving. And what I'm showing is that the moon, which is leaving. Now the moon right here is making, in Virgo, it's making it in conjunct to the node, okay? This is the kickoff, right? Because, I mean, come all the way over here and look what's going on, but we're watching the in conjunct. This is the in conjunct haven, right? Because first, the moon will in conjunct the node, right? Or not the node, but Chiron. There it is. The node is actually making its in conjunct to Chiron right now, okay? Then, that's what the moon's doing. The moon's now it's going to keep on going, right? That moon's keep on traveling. As I said, everything is always moving. Until Jupiter stops moving in your life, right? Because the motion of everything is about Jupiter, right? But we have several planets that really show that motion happening, right? I mean, look at Tom Cruise. He's a Cancer, and the moon, and his name is like in his probably his favorite franchise, Mission Impossible, which is the mission is like the sixth house, okay? And here we have Cancer. I would absolutely like to see the in conjuncts in Tom's life. There's that in conjunct that in conjunct that he probably had before he broke his ankle. In Mission Impossible, right? So here we are. The moon, as I chatter on about in conjuncts, the moon is coming into swing. It's going to be 17 degrees. It's going to be in conjunct. The node is going to be like almost 18 degrees. Look at it, 1759, right? Here comes that moon. It's coming around. And, I mean, and as I said before, this whole entire in conjunct haven has started with basically Chiron in Aries, the node in Aries. Here comes the moon over here. The moon is about to perfectly, I mean, where are we at in time? We're at January 29th, 7 a.m., right? And here comes the node, the moon is coming up. And then we have to ask ourselves, what is the next in conjunct? Because here goes, that moon is going to in conjunct that node. And look at Jupiter and Uranus. They're there in Taurus. Jupiter is growing closer. You can see Jupiter has gained 2 minutes on Uranus. This is races, guys. This is absolutely the races. And look where the moon. Check it out. What's the moon doing? The moon has passed its in conjunct with, it's been a degree now since I've been rambling on about Jupiter. and Uranus, because Jupiter's trying to catch Uranus, and he's going to do it. That is one quick guy. Spin it on his axis in 10 hours. Jupiter means to do things. He absolutely means to do things, Jupiter does. And so here we go. Here comes this huntress, the moon. She's coming up on Jupiter. She's coming up on Juno now, right? But the in conjunct season is being well thought about because why? Because the moon is going to in conjunct Jupiter next, right? Unless we want to go down looking through here, what can in conjunct on this side of the chart, right? Because we know that the in conjunct, we know that when the moon is in Libra, it's opposed Aries, okay? That's why the in conjuncts are happening right now, because the node is in Aries, but the moon is in, Virgo. It's in this Mercury house. It's in this Mercury kingdom. But look, for this chart, you can see there's that 11th house in that, that whole tire. But we don't want to pay attention to that. We want to put this chart, we want to put this time when I started this in conjunct haven, we want to put, when this stuff happens, we want to put this time to your local channel, right? Your local network, your local television, your local town. Let's get local about the in conjunct haven in your town corridor. Because it's the in conjunct. We all deal with them. Sometimes they touch personal planets. Sometimes they touch personal spots in our zodiac, and sometimes they don't. But we see the trend. We all look forward to that full moon sequence, and what gets us to that full moon sequence? Then a lot of hard work and an in conjunct for 30 degrees. It takes 30 degrees for that moon to travel from, that in conjunct to that opposition. Remember, it's 150 degrees. It's 6, right? 1 and 5. It's 150 degrees. A trine is 120 degrees. So the trine is when your legs are moving. You got that momentum happening. The trine is momentum, right? So now we have the trine. Talking about the trines, we have the trines happening. The moon has crossed over Juno, who is trine Uranus, and now, for this rambling kind of time, the moon has been trining Uranus as it begins its waxing experience with the next in conjunct, which would be when the moon crosses over. I mean, if you want to look at a different in conjunct, what else is there at 22 degrees, right? Or at 19 degrees? There's trines with Mercury and Mars, right? There's trines with the moon during this in conjunct season, this in conjunct haven. There's trines with that Mars and Mercury, right? But the sun is not in conjunct with the moon yet, right? The sun will have to be, it'll have to be an entire cycle almost, right? Will the sun see that cycle? You'll have to do the chart. But the thing is that it's only this in conjunct time period. That's all we have to look at right now that is so significant, because we have Uranus, which is 4 times larger than the Earth, being chased by Jupiter, and we're going to watch over the days to come. What are we going to watch? We're going to watch an in conjunct start, because that's what's happening right now. What are we at now? This is all going to happen in the next little bit, guys. This is my moon and Scorpio forecast for you. If you want, I've been thinking about a way to actually do this whole entire lunar trends and forecasting kind of podcast. I've been thinking about how to do this. And I said, you know what? We'll do it this way we're starting off with the importance of the inconjunct at 30 degrees before the full moon. And watch this play, because what happens is that the moon goes through Libra and it sets off these inconjuncts, which are stressful moments between Jupiter and Uranus. Then what happens is the moon delves into Scorpio after 10 degree rest, something like 10-degree rest, 9-degree rest. It'd be like 8 degrees or something, because what we're going to be able to see, to be quite honest with you, to stay on track, we're going to be able to watch the moon do this for 2 months, right? Because what's going to happen here over the next little bit, this is what we're going to look at for the next couple. I'm going to build your clear. We have so much time to build your clairvoyancy up. So when Jupiter does catch up with Uranus in April, and then there's that full moon experience, at full moon Scorpio. Because what we're watching right now is, see, the moon is at 26 degrees Virgo, right? It's almost at 27 degrees. It's coming into that crossover period. It's actually at this time point, it's actually opposite my personal moon. And what you always have to do is look at what you were doing when the moon was opposite your personal moon in your lunar cycle. Especially, and this is how I want you to run with these podcasts with your own software. Because the more people that knows how, and that's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this every single lunar cycle. Because right now we're watching, every time I see a notable selection, because this is the very first official podcast for what? The inconjunct happenings. The inconjunct happenings, right? Because inconjuncts happen, and when we really want to know when they're really important to us, when those inconjuncts happen, because they do stuff in our lives, right? And they don't get their fair amount of wind compared to the trines and the squares and the oppositions. But you can't have the opposition without the inconjunct. I just showed you. It's the stress. I mean, the stuff that is on Wikipedia for this day is all about, what's a crisis? Chinese property sector, right? Chinese property sector. You look at the chart, and you look at the headline, and the last word, and look at, they have even used sector. They have even used sector, right? And look at next to it, it's crisis. Sector is like the house. Crisis is like the inconjunct. Right? Do you hear the ghost? There's like a ghost, crawling around in the studio here. Yeah, we have plenty of ghosts in map, don't you think? Yep, that ghost just keeps on moving around. But look, guys, where we at? Now we, through our giggles and learning and our insightful understanding, look where we are now. We're at 29 degrees. Sorry, guys. It is 7.7. I didn't realize it's going to be... It's even just a small can, but holy cow, 7.7% in a podcast. I think I've done okay. So let's look where the moon is now. The moon is really waxing in. Look at this. There's the part of fortune. And the part of fortune just crawls into that whole tire inconjunct phase. Look at how fast the part of fortune is going. But the moon is cruising by. The moon is absolutely cruising by. And it's in its waxing experience. It's January 30th. 8:49 a.m. And look where. This is just hours ago, guys. And you look at the news, look at your local news, look at all the news, and look for stress. Look for anything like right here that says claim Russia makes a claim and Ukraine denies it, and you know it's just capital punishment, conflict. It's and then conjunct, right? And then the conflict builds to the opposition, right? We're really going to know when things are heating up with this inconjunct thing. But most importantly, it's going to help us maintain that inconjunct before that full moon cycle in our 28-day trend. Because as I said before, when we're going to become wickedly hot predictors here. Here we are. The moon is in that 1 degree. See, it's 1 degree now. It's in this whole entire inconjunct thing. Then it will cross over the node and start the opposition time, right? The moon crosses over the node. It's cruising. It's trying to catch. Remember, the node moves, but it takes like 19 days for it to move 1 degree. Something like 19 days. You could correct me if you like. But the node is moving, but the moon is moving faster. The node will cross over that. The moon will cross over that node, and this is when the inconjunct haven becomes the opposition haven right here, because the inconjunct, the moon will cross over, or the moon will actually be first opposed Chiron. We gotta watch this. It's coming up, right? It's in the days to come. We're gonna watch the moon. We're gonna look at our current events. We're gonna watch the moon, look at our current events, because the moon will oppose Chiron, okay? Then the moon will cross the nodes of fate, and then it will do its opposition with Jupiter and Uranus. And we should have, after this period, we should have a really clear sight of the power of the inconjunct between Chiron, the node, Jupiter, Uranus, and then to understand the power of the moon crossing over the node and then opposed Jupiter and Uranus. That's our sleight of hand. This is going to be our sleight of hand over the next, like where we're going to be here. We gotta let's pull this over here. Let's take a look at where we at here, guys. Let's take a look right where we at. We're moving through time. We're doing it, right? It's 4 p.m. January 30th. What time will it be when the moon will be in Scorpio opposed Uranus? What time will it be? Let's speed it up here by 3. Now we're really cruising, okay? We've just moved things right up here, folks. The moon, we're off to the races. The moon is working on it's coming up. What we're looking at here to 6:50 p.m. We're looking at, watch that time. The moon is in its crosshairs. The moon's going to inconjunct. Here we are. The inconjunct haven's going to happen. 6 degrees, 59 minutes. We're at 6 degrees now. Look at that, 8 p.m. The moon is inconjunct at Jupiter right now. Look at it. The moon is at 6 degrees, 59. The moon's at 6 degrees, 59. Here we at. The moon is at 6 degrees, 59 right there at 10 p.m. Okay? That's the first inconjunct, 10 degrees. Now it's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, we got 8 degrees to go here, right? We have 8 degrees to go. And look at that ascendant. Ascendant's rolling right through there. And the ascendant, what time was that? Because this is the whole entire inconjunct haven happening here. It's so important. These two this planet, because the moon's the closest. The moon really has a lot to do with everything, because it gets to be the closest to us, the Earth, right? This is what the moon gets to do. And now we're coming in. Look at the midheaven. Midheaven has crossed the moon now. What time was that? 4 a.m. 4 a.m. What's going to happen at 4 a.m.? We're going to think about this. We're going to absolutely think about this, guys. In the hours to come, we're going to be able to go back and look at this entire transit. We're watching it go by, and we're going to take all these tricks, right? Because this is very important, because this opposition, this lunar opposition, or not opposition, but crossover of the node is only 6 degrees away, but it's in this waxing period. Look at this. We're looking at 8 a.m. The node is right there. It's coming in. It's 9 a.m. coming up on 13 degrees. It's going to be in that opposition with Chiron. The node is going to be in opposite to Chiron. That's what we're looking at here. And we're going to be able to tag those headlines when we watch this lunar transit. Because the moon has gone from that 150 in conjunct degree. It's gone from that to the opposition of Chiron at 15 degrees. And where is that Chiron sitting in your life? And where is that moon sitting in your life? And what house and what degree? Because we know the degrees, but we just need to know where your house is and what kind of aspects this opposition is doing in your life, right? Because this is Chiron opposed the moon. There it is. There's the opposition, folks. We're coming in, the waxing of the full moon experience of it being opposed Chiron where it was. It doesn't move too quickly, Chiron. Right? Look, we're at 16 degrees. Now comes the opposition with the node. Where is that timestamp? Remember that timestamp is absolutely Saturn, right? So we're looking at that timestamp. Moon's at 17 degrees right there. The node, it's not there yet. We're watching it. 7:30. Where are we at here? 8 o'clock. 59, 8. What? It's going to be there, 8 o'clock time period. Hey, look at it go. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, guys. What do we have here? It's February 1st, right? So 8 o'clock. We're going to be able to relook at all these oppositions, because what's happening now is my local time. It's February 1st, 12:30, right? You can see it up there. So now what we're looking at here, because the moon is in that inconjunct stage, it's leaving that inconjunct period with Uranus. That's what the moon's doing right now. It's getting ready to cross over the ascendant for this beginning of this transit of watching the inconjunct cross over, make its aspect to Chiron, and then watching the inconjunct do its thing with the node. We'll be able to look at all the headlines, but most importantly, we have to know that it's making aspects to these planets through here as well. But as you know, Libra is actually squared Capricorn, right? So we've watched all those aspects happening in here. When you could like rewind and look at that. But now this is the important part, guys, right here, because now what is happening is that the moon is crossing over this ascendant here of when we started, but it's making its waxing opposition to Jupiter and Uranus. Okay? February 1st, looking at this, what is it going to be like in London? Moon opposed Jupiter, and then Moon opposed Uranus, and it's not all going to happen at the same time, right? I mean, it's It's a whole day what we're going to be looking at here. It's a whole day. And I wanted to let you know, because we're coming over to that, Scorpio. We're coming up to that. And we're going to wind this podcast down, because what we have here is a very special time period, okay? And what is this time period is that until as Jupiter crosses over Uranus, this happens in April. This is February. We got March and we got April. We got 2 more months. See, here it comes. Moon's getting ready. It's in that waxing opposition with Jupiter, right? It's coming in because we have a big orb on that moon. There's a big orb on that moon, right? And I think there's 10 degrees. You can watch the happenings because there's little breaks in between the aspects, right? Then the moon sets up for it because these other aspects are setting the moon up. Because you need these incidents. We need these links in the chain. We need these bricks in the wall. When we look, going from an inconjunct to an opposition with, and it doesn't happen again for a very long time. I mean, we're talking a long, long time it will take for this to actually happen again, because once Jupiter conjuncts Uranus, it's going to be at least 12 years until he does it again. Now, with this being said, the moon has just moved into Scorpio, okay? It's 11 p.m. in London. It's 12 a.m. It's February 2nd. The moon is about to cross over my Mercury. Not my Mercury. The moon is about to cross over my Mars. And in the hours to come, which are fleeting by, look at the timestamp over here. Watch it moving. It's absolutely moving. We're going to be able to have hindsight on this, because we've just witnessed what the inconjunct's all about, and what the inconjunct was setting up for the full moon experience, right? And the full moon experience, it's not the full moon, it's actually a square. It's going to be a square, because how it will be is that the moon will be opposed, because this time the moon is in a square, right? The moon's getting this square with Jupiter. There's actually the thing is, there's nothing in Leo right now. There's nothing in Leo. That's what's helping us. It's what's protecting us from a grand square experience. But we're going to be looking at a T-square, right? Because the moon is there. The moon's coming up on Jupiter right now. It throws a very light, it's a 6-degree orb out. It's a very light square, but the square is tightening up. The moon is absolutely opposing Jupiter as it moves over at 7 degrees. Like, look at this. The moon's 7 degrees. There's a light square. The moon has made a square to Pluto. It's made squares to all these planets before this, while it's doing this inconjunct and opposition thing. But this is the opposition right now. And this is the February 2nd deal, right? This is the entire February 2nd deal, folks. Because we have this opposition, and then there's these squares, this last quarter square, right? Because the moon is moving into its next 7-day trek to catch up with the sun again, right? The new moon, Pisces. Or is it it'll be the new moon, Aquarius. My fault, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. But here we are. Look at this. The moon's coming up. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon in London. The moon, you can look at all the different things. You can look at your own personal chart and seeing what that moon's doing during the Scorpio period while it makes these unique oppositions, because it's going to happen 2 more times. But the next time it happens, it won't be a final quarter moon. It will be a full moon experience. You catch my drift here? It's a very unique time, folks. We as astrologers can look at such trends ahead of time. And we can watch the headlines globally through the internet, and we can catch so much data that it can shift our entire minds and open our minds so much more of how much more energy we should be applying to understanding the inconjunct that happens, all the inconjuncts that happen in our lives. Because the inconjuncts where are they? They're always where the stress is, and they're always where the work is. And if we wake up every day and we know, I have an inconjunct here, or if I have an inconjunct then, you can locate the inconjunct. Because in most case scenarios, there's something going on with the moon, which is our closest neighbor. That moon is the moon in the ascendant is that entire trigger finger kind of timestamp on the events that have significant hallmarks in our evolution and our spiritual growth as we make our journey across the earth. So with this being said, here we have, it's coming up to 5 a.m. It's February 3rd, and it's February 3rd. The sign is at 13 degrees Aquarius. It's opposed my natal Jupiter, which is the planet of, which is at home at that 1 degree, 12 degrees, 30 minutes is where Jupiter is really happy. And here we are, the moon is past the square with the sun, and it's working on its opposition with Uranus. It's in a strong opposition. It's going to be 9 a.m. What are we looking at here? February 3rd, here it comes. This is the time to watch it. February 3rd in the UK, 19 degrees. We're talking in between 10 and 11 o'clock. Let's look at it there, okay? That is the show, folks. Thanks for hanging on, and I hope we all have much enlightenment with this moon opposed Uranus experience that we're about to take on in the next 2 days. Cheers. Hope you had a fun time in Inconjunct land, or I should say Inconjunct Haven.